You know how like a friendship cannot exist like without argument. If you have come this far with your friends and you have not argued, though your day ones, and you have not argued, you have not had any disagreement, you're good people. You're really good people, but your friendship is a scam. Like, you cannot afford to live life by sight. Sight will fool you, okay? Sight will fool you. Sight will make you believe that you cannot achieve. Sight will make you believe that you are lost and you have been left behind. Let me even take a deep breath. We just want to say thank you for growth, even as we grow, Ojava God. Hello fam, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, I officially welcome you. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome. So you know the drill. Please leave me a comment down in the comment section below so that I can notice you and share love with you. And for my new viewers and new subscribers, make sure that you subscribe and don't forget to hit that notification button to get notified whenever I put up content, and don't forget to share the link to this channel with somebody so that we can grow together. Forgive the position that we're in. This is the entrance to my house and the door is like right behind me because I was trying to find the best lighting that I could. But if you're gonna hear any roosters scrolling, any sounds, and they're like, I'm literally by the door, so there's like sound coming in, so forgive us. As you can tell by the title of this video, it's a collection of things that I have learned so far as I have lived 26 years on the surface of the earth. My apologies if you see me move into this section, it's because I'm reading. So the first point is each season has its own opportunities, and knowing the season of your life will be helpful in you knowing what you should be doing. What exactly I mean by this is, you know how the different seasons in the world, right? There's rainy season, there's summer, there's winter, and everything like that, right? It's rainy season, I'm expected to move around with an umbrella in order for me to shield myself from the rain, right? So that I don't get soaked. As you go through life, you'll go through different seasons, but in your ability to determine what particular season that you're currently going through will help you with what decisions you're supposed to make, what exactly you're supposed to do, or what goals that you're supposed to actually achieve and set for that particular season of your life. Each season has its own helper. Just as there is a tool used to open a can, trust that each person in your life have their own function. It is easy to open a can with an opener and appreciate it for a job well done, but when you use a wine opener to try and open a can, you will find it useless because it was designed to open a wine bottle and not a can. Very important for you to actually identify the helpers of that particular season that you have, because if your main focus is to have the same helpers throughout each and every season, you will begin to not appreciate the people that God has placed in your life. You will begin to feel like people are letting you down, but in actual sense you have not just identified what each and every person is strategically placed in your life for, and what season are they there to help you through. This point is actually connected to my next point, which is no one owes you anything. It is possible to be upset with someone for not being there for you or rendering help when you need it. Have you identified their purpose in your life? Like the previous point, have you identified the purpose? Are they a can opener or are they a wine opener? Are you trying to use that wine opener in the instances where you need a can opener, not a wine opener? So I hope you get what I mean. It's just an illustration. So it's very important that you know the friends that you have. Are you trying to pour out a particular friend who is not so good at listening, such that at the end of the day you feel like they're not good friends? So that's practically what I mean by this particular statement. The next one is the peace of God surpasses all human understanding. This is something that I came to learn recently, right? There's this new channel that I have been watching. Regarding a South African Christian couple that I've been following. They talked about how the peace of God surpasses all human understanding. In everything that you do, the biggest question that you have to have as you are pursuing it is, am I feeling the peace of God? Like, is God's peace with me. It's very possible for you to be doing something that you are not called to be doing just because everybody is doing it and not have the peace of God. If something does not bring you peace, right, don't do it. I struggled with the acceptance that it's okay for me to not have a social media account. Like, I think for the longest time, you've actually heard me come and rant about how I don't like social media. Like, I knew it deep down, like I did not like it. Like, me and social media have like a toxic relationship, like, no, like that forced relationship, and anything that's forced will become toxic. After coming across this scripture about how the peace of God surpasses all human understanding, how I always find inner peace whenever I am away of social media, I just decided and said, you know what, I'm not gonna force it. Many people ask me saying, how is it possible that you do not have an active social media account when you're a YouTuber, you are an influencer? For some reason, being a YouTuber is tied to being an influencer, but I do not like to identify myself as an influencer, right? For me, being a YouTuber is me doing stuff that I like, creating art in a format that I like, which is videography and also talking, because I love to talk, I won't lie. And it's okay to not be part of a trend. Okay, for the peace you desire does not come from fulfilling that which is required of you, but from you allowing God to lead you. I mean, he leads you besides the still waters, doesn't he? My next point is, growth is not only centered on the lower part of a tree. As a tree grows, you will notice that the fruits will not only be centered on one part, but they'll be evenly distributed. What I actually mean by this statement is, have you seen how when you're planting a tree, right, you plant it as one, but as it grows into so many different branches. Apart from that, when the fruit is growing on a tree, you don't only see it grow either at the top of the tree or at the bottom of the tree. You see it grow or evenly. Every decision that you make in your life will affect all areas of your life. What I'm trying to say is, you see, as you are applying manure or any fertilizer to that particular tree, every branch of that tree will benefit from that particular manure or fertilizer that you apply to that particular tree. So best believe that every decision that you make will affect your friendships, it will affect your relationships, it will affect your work, it will affect your spiritual life. It be a negative or a positive decision that you make, you should know that it will affect all areas of your life. So the next point is, it's actually connected to the tree, right? Sometimes a little stretch is what you need. Just because something is out of your reach does not mean it is not food that you can feed on. What I mean is that when a fruit is in season, have you noticed how it will be easy for you to actually pluck from the bottom, right? You easily have access to the fruit that's actually at the bottom. For the one that's like right above the tree, you really have to be skilled. You really have to come up with the most creative ways in order for you to actually pluck it. I'm gonna give you an example of mango, right? I don't know if it happens everywhere. I'm really gonna pretend like I'm talking to people not only in Zambia at this particular point, I'm talking to people everywhere. Okay, so in Zambia, when you're plucking mango, that is not at the surface. There's this whole technique of having like a tree, and then you put like a wire at the end, because the way that you have to like have that wire hooked onto a mango in order for you to get that particular mango, so to say, because there are times when you actually do climb the mango tree, right, but that particular mango is like positioned in a place where you just need the help of that particular tree. Just because certain achievements are out of your reach, it does not mean that you cannot achieve them. It requires you to be creative in order for you to actually achieve them. Because if there is a desire in you to actually achieve that particular achievement, best believe it that there is creative technique within you that will give you the access in order for you to actually achieve that. Just be bold enough to actually reach out and do that which you want to do. Then number 7 is, the greater the achievement, the harder it is to reach. It is also connected to the tree. Like I said, like it's easier to pluck the mango at the surface, and the mango at the surface, it usually finishes fast, even way before it's actually ripe. You find people have plucked it out, but the best mango, which has taken its time to actually grow and fully mature, which is out on the top, it's very difficult for you to pluck it. So that's what I mean by The greater the achievement, the harder it is for you to achieve. You just have to be creative. It doesn't mean that you can't achieve it. Just be creative. My next point, which is point number 8, age will always be a limiting factor if you allow it to be. 5 years ago, I told myself saying I couldn't achieve something because I thought I was too young. I don't know if it happens to everyone. Like this period of being between 25 and 30, especially when you are in between, when you do not know what you identify as. You don't know if you identify as mid-20 or you are in your late 20s. Oh, there's a lot of commotion that happens. There's a part of you that wants to achieve the things that you set for your 20s because your 30s is approaching and society won't just let you be, right? There's like a list of stuff that they have put out for you to achieve before you turn 30, and for you to not actually achieve those things before 30, it's kind of like a taboo. Before I actually quit Instagram, I came across a reel that another had actually posted about her being a late bloomer and how you need to be comfortable with the fact that some things are going to be achieved at a particular time of your life, not at a time that you want, but according to how God has planned it for you. Give yourself grace, like be patient and give yourself grace. You are allowed to be different. You need to learn how to exist as an individual. For that is what makes you. If you're gonna thrive to, like, how can I put it, like thrive to always be part of a group or a team, then you're not living life. Actually, for the longest time, I struggled with being a YouTuber. I struggled with being like whatever I could be, like posting publicly. For me, I always looked at it in terms of my family. What will my family think of me? Like if I start doing whatever I am doing, but I did not care if I liked it or something. Not that I'm a people pleaser. For some reason, I'm actually not a people pleaser. I really did pay attention to what my family would say. Like when it comes to my friends, what my friends would think of me being a YouTuber and everything, I did not care. But my family, that one really just did come to mind like a lot. But yeah, over time, I just say, you know what? Let me do what I love to do. It's just not in terms of being a YouTuber, it applies in like other aspects of my life. There are certain decisions that I was really afraid of making because the first thing that came to mind is, what will my family think of this particular thing? Sometimes I actually felt like I was just not worthy of doing it. So I really had to come to terms with the fact that it's okay to exist as an individual. Iron sharpens iron. Whatever you decide to embark on, it's important that you find yourself around a circle that has similar goals, for they will be a source of encouragement and wisdom and strength whenever you need it. This is direct. I actually don't need to explain it more. There is no shame in asking for help. Adulthood is hard. Okay? It is hard. It can test you, it can make you pass through the it is hard. Okay, the last month of 2022, which was December, my family had to move to Lusaka, so I found myself in a space where now I had to start paying my own bills. I had to be responsible for my finances. Like nothing could go wrong. Back then, if I go broke, if anything goes wrong, I know I'm in my sister's house. Like she will take care of everything. Like not have to worry about like power issues and everything, because I know my sister will take care of everything, even if I remember zero kwacha. But this year, right, I think I struggled with that because the moments where finances are just not financing, like they're just not financing, they're just not adding up, and I was so afraid to actually just call and ask for help, like from my family, and just ask for help, even just for friends, because for me it felt like, hey, if your finances are not financing, best believe it that you're being irresponsible. There's certain decisions that you're making that you're not supposed to make, regardless of other external factors. Actually, it's not even necessarily your fault. Sometimes it's just other external factors that are really out of your control and the like. So I had to learn how to give myself grace for that particular thing, and also reach out whenever I needed help. Like, hey, this is where I'm at and I do need help. I do not know how to go about it. No man is an island. There is no such thing as, oh well, I am used to being alone, I can do this life alone. Just humble yourself. Like really just humble yourself and embrace the people that God has placed in your life. Like love them, appreciate them, love them, always should have them. And even as you love them, learn to receive the love that God is giving you through those particular people that He has placed in your life. You cannot do life on your own. Friends are very important. Very important. You can still be an available friend, but have boundaries. I always talked about how I am a selfless human being. Whenever I drew those boundaries, I usually used to think that I'm being a mean friend, but healthy boundaries are important because it teaches people not to take advantage of your goodness and your kindness. Your friends can still know that, okay, this person, whenever I call them and the like, they'll still pick up the phone. They'll always be there for me, but I need to respect the boundaries that they have placed. Time and place matters. This is something that I actually had to learn from MCA. And the reason why MCA actually taught me about time and place is because I will blast at him at any time and any place before that particular time, but I actually learned that there's a time and place to actually ask for something. I need to respect the fact that there's a particular time that he would actually love for me to reach out when he's going through something, and just the way that I would respect his boundary, I also have to give that grace to my friends. Like, I have to accept that there's a particular way that they would love to be approached whenever they're going through something. Just because it works for me in this particular way doesn't mean that it will work for them. The time and chance will also apply in the next point. When you have an idea and resources, it's also important to know when to act. Just because you have the idea and you have the capital to fund that particular idea and bring it into reality, it doesn't mean that you need to act now. It's not always that you have to act now. Guys, I have made so many mistakes. I have found myself in places where my blood pressure is just like, I'm super stressed because I failed to identify the actual right time for me to actually discern when it is right for me to actually act. We couldn't beat the light. But anyways, my next point from this is, that dog likes to pack. Embrace other people's style of communication. Just because you like something in a particular way doesn't mean your neighbor will like it that way. Be sensitive and accommodating other people's ways of thinking. You know how like a friendship cannot exist like without arguments. If you have come this far with your friends and you have not argued, your day ones, and you have not argued, you have not had any disagreement, you're good people. You're really good people, but your friendship is a scam, because I believe disagreements are actually what make friendships bigger and better. When me and my friends actually have disagreements, me, my friends, my cousins, my siblings, and like, when we have disagreements, I need to respect the time that they will actually take to process that whole thing, that whole disagreement, and also the time that it will take to heal from it. Just because I have moved on, it doesn't mean that my friend also has to move on from it like instantly or something. I also need to give them the space and boundaries that they actually need. Clean up to your mistakes is key to growing healthy relationships. If you always want to be right and those around you to be wrong, you have a problem. You need to change. Know your why in everything you do, because it's very easy for us to get caught up in the busyness of life such that we actually forget what we're doing. But when you get back to, why am I doing this? Why am I here? It gives you that whole encouragement to keep on going. And your why will also give you that whole thing for like, okay, you know what? It's time for me to say bye to this. I'm out. Purpose cannot be uncovered overnight. It is a process. 2 or 3 years ago, I attended this youth meeting by Maranatha, where a very good person, like a very, very, very good person, Chaka, was speaking, and she talked about how a human being's personality is like a box which is made up of 4 tiny boxes. One which consists of the things that you know that nobody knows, the other that consists of the things that people know about you that you do not know, and the other that consists of the things that you know and what other people know, and the other that consists of what you do not know and what other people do not know. As you grow, you tend to discover more things, and those more things that you discover, they're pieces to a jigsaw puzzle that you need to put that will help you discover more of your purpose. Change is inevitable. If you do not change, change will change you. This is something I learned from my teacher of literature in English in high school. This is something he always said, saying, if you do not embrace change, when change comes your way, if you do not embrace it, best believe it that it will change you. And when it changes you, it will change you for the better or it will change you for the worst. So it's up to you to embrace it and allow it to change you for the better, because you are in control the moment that you accept it. Life can never be constant, it's a lie. My other point is, as change happens, there are new opportunities, new challenges and boundaries that come with it. You need to embrace it. For instance, like there's certain things that I loved to do in my previous seasons that I do not love to do. There's a particular point in my life when I was actually an outdoor person. Like I enjoyed going out with friends. I was never home, but now I enjoy just being home. There's a particular season where I would wake up at 3 and 4 or something, and I'll be up the whole entire day and I'll function. But this current season of my life, like I can't. I won't even lie, I can't. If I wake up at 3, best believe that I'm gonna be knocked out at 6 and I want to sleep the whole entire day. And there's probably certain things that you said you'd never try out, but in your new season you actually find that you do get the urge to try out. You're actually finding fulfillment in doing those particular things. It's change. Embrace it. Life is spiritual. You cannot afford to live and walk blindly. You cannot afford to live life by sight, for we are human beings that were created to move by faith and not by sight. Sight will fool you, okay? Sight will fool you. Sight will make you believe that you cannot achieve. Sight will make you believe that you are lost and you have been left behind. But faith will align you with that which God has in store for you. Faith will always remind you that God will not bring you this far to fail you. Know your money language. It's important to know your money language. Have you noticed how we have like all these financial advisors that have come up? Like there's so many. I'm not saying there's a problem with that, right? There's nothing wrong with it. But for me, I'm a human being that believes that how we have like different love languages. I believe that each person also has a different money language. The advice that they give you is something that has worked for them. They've actually researched, they've tried it, and it's something that has worked for them. So you as a human being, even as they give you that information, right, it's very important that you sieve out the things that cannot work and also incorporate the things that work for you and come up with your own money language if you have to be financially independent at the end of the day. Patience is a virtue. Rome cannot be built in one day. I just have to read this one. Let me just read this one. That saying of Rome cannot be built in one night, right? I've had to learn it the hard way. Living in a generation that's all about planting in the morning and then we reap by the end of the day. Many other times I found myself making wrong decisions because I took matters into my own hands. Something I'm not proud of. Let me even take a deep breath. There is something about waiting that makes you feel like you're not doing anything right. You're behind. There is more that you can be doing. In your inability to wait, you end up producing something that is out of God's will. I'm going to give an example of Sarah. Like, I love this story. The story of Sarah in the Bible. You see how God promised her that she was going to have a child, but the child took so long. She felt like it became physically, biologically impossible in order for her to have that child, and she decided to help God, right? That's how Ishmael was birthed. As you go down that story, you actually realize that Ishmael, who was not God's will, but Sarah's will, began to frustrate her because Sarah could not stand Ishmael being around. At some point, Ishmael and his mom actually had to leave. What I'm trying to say is that in your inability to wait on God, to let God be God and not take things in your own hand, you birth things that you're not supposed to birth. You birth things out of God's will that actually end up frustrating you. Patience is actually a virtue. That's something that I have had to learn the hard way in my 26 years of life. Honesty is the best policy in everything that you do, relationships, friendships, family, work, spiritual life. If you want to be successful, you need to embrace the key of honesty. When it comes to work, do not lie in your CV that, I can do not lie just because you want to be hired for that job. Please give them what you can do. Trust me, if they need to hire you, they will hire you and they will train you for that particular thing that you could not achieve. Even in your relationships, your friendships, your family, if you're not for something, just be honest. Like this is here to me. Embrace the power of honesty in every conversation that you have. Gratitude is a must and prayer is the master key. I don't know if you know that song that we used to sing in Sunday school. Prayer is the key, prayer is the key, prayer is the master key. Forgive me, my voice sounds horrible, but anyways, Jesus started with prayer and ended with prayer. Prayer is the master key. Prayer has the ability to open doors that you never knew existed. It has the ability to heal wounds that you never knew you had, or those that you have hidden so deep that nobody has access to. But when you pray and you surrender to God, it has the ability to actually uncover and help you heal. Before God, you can come naked and not be ashamed, because He requires you to come naked before Him. He doesn't need you to be covered, because even before you come and ask for that particular petition, best believe that God knows it. Like, He already knows what you want to ask. And also be grateful. Be grateful. Complaining will never get you anywhere. That gratefulness will actually keep you going in life. Like, in order for you to live life, in this tough life, you need to learn how to be grateful at all times. I'm not saying at specific points, even in the moments that you feel like it's impossible for you to be grateful. You need to learn how to be grateful. Those were the 26 points that I have learned in my 26 years of life. If you're viewing this video today, which is the 10th of November, it is my birthday. It's my birthday. So don't forget to wish me a happy birthday. I just turned 27. Well, I was so anxious about it, but one thing about having a face that doesn't age, I can always pass for being 21, so I'm forever 21. Close off this video, I'm gonna do something that I have never done on this channel, which is pray. Shall we pray? Our kind and Heavenly Father, we come before you this lovely day. We just want to say thank you for growth. We want to say thank you, O Lord, for the breath of life. I want to say thank you, O God, for each and every viewer, O Lord, that comes to this channel, O God. Even as we grow, O Jehovah God, may you give us the wisdom, O God, that we need, O God, to get through each and every single day, O God. May you give us the grace, O God, to accept change, O Jehovah God, and to walk, O God, according to your will, O God, and not ours, O Jehovah God. Your will, O Lord, be done and not ours. May you alone be God of our lives, and may you alone be praised, oh God. We love you always, oh God, and thank you for your love. It's through your Son, Jesus Christ, we pray with thanksgiving in our hearts. Amen. I hope I see you in the next video. And don't forget to be grateful. I love you.